Hey, it's your girl, Ice Gem, and this is episode 14 of Real Talk. And today we're going to talk about living with mould. I wasn't sure how to put it then. So I've just got out of a mouldy situation, but I wasn't able financially to throw everything I owned away. So I guess it's living after mould would be more appropriate. I missed last week's upload because I've had an inner ear infection. Still got it. But I didn't want to miss 2 weeks. So I thought, let's go this morning. I am filming a little bit later in the morning than usual. So I'm really hoping that doesn't affect sound because I live in a really busy area. Okay, so I recently moved out of my second mouldy property in a row. Just a caveat, both properties were mouldy before I lived there. Just been a couple of comments on shorts about me causing the mould. Mould was already well established in both areas, both houses, before I lived there. Like, one house was a Victorian era house and I lived in a basement. And the other house was a 1970s flat. That was a flat. And the windows were completely rotten before I moved in. So just to set the tone there. Now I've moved to this flat, again a flat. And there is small amounts of mould here around the windows. Mainly in the ceiling, a little bit in the wall, which isn't ideal. But it is a lot less of a dose than what I've been living in the last two properties. Financially, I wasn't able to literally just throw everything away and start again, which means I have brought a lot of spore contaminated items into this property, which is becoming a problem and pretty evident. So I have cross-contaminated, as people would say. Unfortunately, I didn't have a choice. For example, this sofa, my mattress, there's some of the soft items. All of the moving cardboard boxes are obviously spore exposed from one property. I have paperwork that's exposed from both properties. I have electronics that's exposed from both properties, and several other items. A lot of books, and I'm going to say important books with work in them for now. I'm just going to put it like that. And there's also like some really important memories, like my photography stuff from A-levels, like my portfolio from then, just some other mementos. I have lost a lot of my stuff already, memento-wise, due to an eviction previously. Over 10 years ago now. But yeah. So when I packed up, I really wasn't able to deal with the emotions of having to throw everything away, and also like the physical load of having to throw everything away. I have an uncontrolled seizure condition where I have multiple seizures a day, and I also have a mobility problem. I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user, so I did need a lot of help to move, and I did need help to pack. And the physical load of packing I wasn't able to deal with very well. I had 5 weeks to pack, but yeah, it wasn't enough. And in the end, I ended up just, throwing things into boxes and bags, and it's very chaotic at this end now. So as I'm slowly unpacking, I'm very worried about the boxes. I'm starting to react with my eyes, throat and nose when I'm near the boxes, just the cardboard in general. When I have to go into paperwork, like all my paperwork from the last flat. Obviously just sitting on the sofa, going to bed. All of my clothes are contaminated. I didn't have a washing machine. I've just got a washing machine, so that decontamination process is starting. I haven't got the money to just replace everything I own, unfortunately, and you need certain things to live. I do anyway. I can't be sleeping on the floor, sitting on the floor, having no warm clothes to wear. It's the winter in the UK as I'm filming this. These are things that my mobility will not allow me to do, you know, and also would be dangerous for my seizure condition. There's stuff like pillows here, like I need like certain items around, things to be laid out in a certain way, because I have a lot of full body seizures and I hit my head a lot, and yeah, you know, this is another barrier to be able to get the work done, because if the more I do, the more seizures I have, the longer my to-do list is, the more stressed I get, etc. So it's a very slow process, this end. I will talk about just laundry a little bit, just stuff I learned of how to decontaminate it. Whether it's effective or not, I don't know. This, for example, is fleecy, and I don't think it is necessarily very effective on fabrics that are synthetic, but a lot of my fabrics are synthetic, such as life, basically, now, you know. So the laundry routine I am doing, I can't afford to run 3 wash loads on everything, which is what I found was recommended on the Reddit page, Toxic Mold Exposure. I got a lot of learning and help from there. I've also used ChatGPT to learn a little bit about this, but it's a combination of me researching it first, then using that more as a tool to remember things, because my brain's not very good. I'm like a little bit neurologically challenged at the minute, having all these seizures every day and hitting my head a lot. Not to mention the brain fog from mold exposure. So yeah, laundry wise, I'm using white vinegar as conditioner. I'm using soda crystals on fabrics that will allow, such as cottons and towels, cloths, stuff like that. All my cleaning cloths are 90 degrees wash, tumble drying everything I am able to. I've got a washer dryer. Then fabrics that are more delicate, I'm using bicarb in with the wash. I can't afford to run 3 wash loads on everything. I just can't afford it. I can't afford the electric. I don't have the time or energy. I can't afford it time or energy wise. And I can't afford it like detergent and vinegar and bicarb wise. So these things might not seem that expensive, although detergent is. I have got an eco lavender detergent, which I will use on a lot of things, but a lot of my clothes, I will use delicate detergent to try and make the clothes last longer, and, you know, do a wool wash and stuff to try and make clothes last longer, you know. I am okay financially, but I'm not like, yeah, I'm not in a financial position to be able to like be spending a lot of money on these things, particularly after a move. Particularly after a move where I've lost everything. Although I haven't lost everything, I chose to retain some things. There is a price to that. I remember the first shower I had in this place. I got out of the shower. I didn't have a washing machine, so I hadn't laundered anything. I just packed and straight used it. The towel stank. The whole flat stank of the mold from the old flat. My old clothes stank that I got out of into the shower. My new clothes stank. Everything stank. As soon as I dried myself, I could smell like the smell of the mold at the last place. We'll call that place Century House, just for reference. And yeah, some of these items I've had at both places. One place is called Hartington Lodge, one place is called Century House. So I have some double contaminated items in this property, which was a big mistake. I didn't, how do I put this? I didn't clear out paperwork and just certain things I didn't think about, wires and stuff. And yeah, electronics seem to hold on to spores. I am reacting to a lot of electronics. I don't know what that's about. That is an item I didn't really think about. I can't clean that with white vinegar. I only really use white vinegar for cleaning, other than like, you know, washing up liquid detergents, because I'm really chemical sensitive now. Fragrances make me really unwell. give me migraines, just give me that fog feeling, that feeling of malaise, that confusion. It's not just about allergic symptoms. Now, this has also been a controversial bit, which actually I expected, and I did mention in the long format video. So as I'm cutting it up into shorts, that's really the main place I get comments and views at the minute. Yeah, so I'm not talking about some allergic symptoms when I'm talking about mold illness. I'm not talking about mold allergy. There is an argument to be made that exposed to the right toxic molds, everyone would experience mold allergy. That is certainly what the mold expert who came to look at my last property said to me. I said, well, I'm allergic to mold, because I knew mold illness, quote, doesn't exist. So I said, oh, well, I'm allergic to mold. He said, well, everyone is, like that to me. This guy was an acquired taste who came to Century House. There was a leak out of that boiler. That is what I was reporting where the mold was. He told me it wasn't mold. The humidity wasn't high. It wasn't high because I had 2 dehumidifiers, each big enough for a 3-bedroom house and a 1-bedroom flat. Yeah, there was no mention that they were going to use a hydrometer when they came, so I would have turned it off and allowed it to get to the full 90+ humidity that it naturally was if they had done it. And yeah, as I moved out, I see, well, the pump is leaking out of the boiler. And yeah, there definitely was a water source. And when I looked back under, yeah, there definitely was mold. So that contractor literally took biocides and just sprayed under there. Anyway, I'm getting distracted with things I've probably talked about in the previous video. So yeah, I'm having time to process the emotions and really start to get more firm with throwing things away. I'm still struggling, even though it's been a further 4 weeks. I don't know. It's approaching 4 weeks, I think, since I've moved in, or it might be slightly over. I'm still struggling physically with the tasks of getting rid of everything because of my other illnesses, and probably because of the mold illness. Who's to say what's affecting what? Once there's all these layers of chronic illness, you know, it all gets a bit confusing. So yeah, it's a big concern about these cardboard boxes, these items, but at the same time I can't just bang through, even if I was physically able to. If I just banged through everything, box after box after box after box, I would, let's say I somehow got it all done in one day, I would be really ill. And I just can't, because I haven't got furniture. I threw a lot of the furniture was mouldy as I was leaving, and items that I knew could carry a lot of mould, and I knew, okay, I can survive without this. Those are items of furniture I got rid of. So most of the items were mouldy as I was unpacking furniture wise, and some I couldn't detect the mould, but maybe they were made of MDF, or maybe they were made of plastic and they had mould on them. I've been opening up a lot of plastics that have like non-shiny porous parts on them. Like I've got a little teapot thing that I put my spoon on, flipped it over. Underneath there was like a ring of bright orange coloured mould. The mould veered very orange coloured there. There was a lot of white and orange colours. Greens, let's think. I mean, those rotten wooden windows had all sorts of colours on, but it veered very orange and white there. Whereas at the last property, Central House, at the previous property, Hartington Lodge, that mould veered very green, black, and, you know, floral shapes. When you peeled back wallpaper, and yeah, it veered floral shape patterns, black coloured, green colours. Whereas at Century House it veered more pinks, oranges, whites. Pink was another one that was in there. Yeah, so my kettle was also mouldy underneath. It was made of plastic, but being that it's, you know, water, I threw it away. I need to throw away other items that I'm using like my water filter. I use a 0 water filter. That needs replacing, but it's just like I need these things. It's that battle between need. Is it a must to survive? Some may argue a water filter isn't. Personally, the way I feel about tap water and the things I know personally about tap water and looking into it, it is a must. Other people, you may not agree. That's fine. So I've kept that. Bought a new kettle. It's been very expensive. My finances are very messed up. Very messed up. So my health's really messed up. My finances are really messed up. And just my time and energy is really just going into this constantly. I'm going to keep updating about the mould stuff. I don't know how much new information was really in this video or in that we just talked about, but time's sort of running out and I don't want to go too over on time because it makes it hard on storage space at the minute. So I am going to leave it there, and I'm going to leave it open-ended for anyone to comment how they may feel about that, if they've been through it. If you've been watching this and you've been through this, feel free to comment, but also at the same time I appreciate that you might not want to, because I do understand, like, yeah. But if you are literally at this point of the video, please press like, because like you obviously liked it. Whether you get up to this point, even if you got to this point out of sheer hatred for me and for this video, you watched it to the end, so on some level you liked it. Anyway, yeah, and if you want to hear more about like my personal testimonies of things that I've lived experience of, then if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be really, really great. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'll leave it there because time's running, and yeah, I'll leave it there. May peace be with you today, and I will catch you next time. Ciao for now.